What's up guys, my name is Aaron and today I'm going to be reviewing American Teen by Khalid. This is a first album by Khalid. He is an R&B pop artist. He's from El Paso, Texas. I never heard of him before. I just saw the album cover on Apple Music when I was just scrolling through it and I thought it looked cool and I gave it a listen, and I think this is a pretty good album. I think that there's some things about it that is kind of rough around the edges that I will kind of fix, but I think this is a pretty good album for somebody his age. He's like 19 years old, so I think this is a pretty good starting point for this guy. Definitely the best thing about this album is his voice. He has like a really raspiness to his voice that doesn't really fit with his age because he's 19 years old, so he kind of sounds a little bit more mature and a little bit wise beyond his ears. If I had to compare him to an artist, it would kind of be Frank Ocean, because he kind of has really cool, really laid back voice, but I think that he has like a little bit more like grit to his voice than Frank Ocean does. That makes him a little bit more unique than a lot of people around his age. You can like really hear it on the song Saved, which is about like saving a girl's phone number in his phone and just trying to keep that relationship going on and stuff like that. It's a really stripped sound song, and you can really hear the extent of his voice on that song. He sounds really emotional, really vulnerable on that track. Song Coasters, you can pretty much see the same thing with the way he's singing about this past love that it's just better left away. He sounds really somber on that song. Definitely those tracks and a few other songs in this album really showcase how good his voice is, and you can definitely see that that's definitely the best thing about this, just how soulful his voice is. And then the beats are pretty good too. He alternates between like pop and R&B in a way that sounds pretty effortless, like he's just going through the motions, and it doesn't really seem like he's like really trying too hard, and I do appreciate that because it brings a little bit more variety and stuff to the album. Like those songs that we're talking about, those are a little bit more somber songs that he's singing on. Like on other songs like Young, Dumb, and Broke, which kind of has this like Frank Ocean and Lana Del Rey vibe to me. That song is a little bit more anthemic with the organ that's playing on it, and then it has this like hip-hop flair to it with the drums that are playing on that song too. Really gives it a nice anthem vibe that I like. The song American Teen, the title track on this album, really has a very distinct 80s pop feel to it. If you hear it, you're automatically going to think of the 80s with the synths that are playing on that track, the drum machine, how all those elements kind of like just go together and just creates this kind of coming of age vibe to it, kind of something that you would probably hear in like something that's probably inspired by like The Breakfast Club or something like that. And then the song 18 is probably my favorite beat on this album. It's really bouncy with the drums that are on that, the piano that's playing on that track too, and then the yes that are just kind of going off in the background. A really good pop song. So yeah, I really like the diversity in this album. Like he's just not just doing just straight pop, and he's not doing just straight R&B. He's kind of going through all these different inspirations and different influences and stuff that creates this like modern vibe to it that I really do enjoy. Like bringing all these elements together and creating something new. I think that's a really cool touch. Kind of reminds me of Frank Ocean again. And I do like the earnestness of his lyrics. Like he is 19 years old, so he doesn't have like a lot of like world experience and stuff. So he does sing about what he knows, and I think that's probably the lane that he should be staying in, just singing about what he knows. So you do hear a lot of songs about like high school, like the songs I was just mentioning, American Teen, 18, Young, Dumb, and Broke. He's just talking about like just the pros and cons of like growing up and being in high school and stuff and being around your friends and stuff. That's kind of the vibe he's going on for a lot of the songs. And the other songs he's going for more of a like relationships and heartbreak and stuff like that. And he sings about what he knows. Like songs like Save, Another Sad Love Song, and just a couple other songs where he sings about more of the relationships and stuff that he goes through. I think he does balance this really well, I guess, but the thing that I would take away from this is that there really are only two modes on this, just his high school experience and then the relationship and love thing. So there's not really like a lot of diversity with the themes and stuff. Again, I'm not really saying that he should be singing about stuff he doesn't really know about. I'm saying that maybe he should cut down the tracks a little bit. So maybe instead of like 15 songs, it should be like 12 songs, so it's not as monotonous sounding. He kind of does go over the same beats a lot on this album. And I do think that the lyrics are okay for a 19-year-old, but I don't know, they just kind of feel a little bit generic and kind of surface level. I know that he's only 19 years old. I'm not giving him too much grief about this, but it can kind of feel a little bit like things that you've heard in the past and stuff. And there is a kind of unique flair to it, but I don't think it's like enough. I think maybe in the next few years, as he gets a little bit more life experience, you'll really hear like some growth, I think. But overall, I do think this is a pretty good album. I think that his voice is definitely the strongest point of it. Very soulful, really has a nice raspiness that I like. I think that the beats are really cool, like how he kind of goes from pop, R&B with some hip hop elements to it too. I think that it creates a lot of variety with the sounds and stuff that he has on this album. I do think that the lyrics that he's singing about are kind of earnest and really reminiscent of the things that like a high schooler at his age would be talking about. I think that it's pretty good for what he's singing about. But I do think that, I don't know, there's just kind of just two tones that he's singing about, and it's not like a lot of variety with the things he's singing. So I think that maybe if it was cut down a little bit, I think that'd be a little bit stronger of an album. And I do think the lyrics are at times a little surface level, but overall it doesn't really like detract from my enjoyment of the album. So I'm gonna give it a B. I think this is a pretty solid album for a 19-year-old, and I really can't wait to see what he's going to come out with in the future when he gets a little bit more world experience and stuff, and I think that's going to create stronger projects in the future. Yeah, so those are my thoughts on Khalid's American Teen. What are your guys' thoughts? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comments what you thought, and thanks for watching. Thanks, guys.